want to share with you a that a Chabad rabbi, somewhere in the States, I'm not going to tell you where, he told over, so the rabbi have a big shul. One of his congregants is an old man, a Holocaust survivor. And he noticed a very interesting thing. Ashkenazic Jewry in Chutz La'aretz only do Birkas Koyanim and Yomim Tovim, Musaf. We in Eretz Yisrael do it every single day. Sfaradim here in Chutz La'aretz also do it every single day. In fact, Reb Shteiman Zecher Tzadik Livrocha, when he was in Chutz La'aretz, he used to go to a Sfaradi shul in the morning because he wanted to get Birkas Koyanim. But in this Chabad Kehila, they do it, Ashkenazim do it, and they only do it a few times a year. Yamim Tovim. This Chabad rabbi noticed that this old man, the Holocaust survivor, every single time before Birkas Koyanim, 2 minutes before, he folds his talis and he leaves the shul. Pele. Can't understand it. What does he have against our Koyanim? And this went on for a few years. One day, this rabbi decided, I'm going to make him stay. So he goes to shul in the morning, it was Yom Tov, and he goes to this fellow, to this old man, and he says to him, listen, maybe you would want to come to have Sudas Yom Tov with us at home. He says, oh wow, thank you very much, that'll be beautiful. He said, well, at least today you're staying. However, Kei Musaf, 2 minutes before Birkas Koyanim, the old man takes his talis off, he folds it, and he leaves the shul. The rabbi said, okay, I guess I wasn't successful. What can you do? Fine. The end of davening, the rabbi leaves the shul, and he sees the old man standing on the corner of the street. He says, oh, you are coming to my house to eat? He says, sure, you invited me, no? Oh, beautiful, beautiful. The rabbi was so intrigued. They came home, he started eating. They drink a bissel, and as you drink, the hearts open up. So the rabbi says to him, can I ask you a question? He says, sure, rabbi. No, a personal question. Sure. I noticed that every single time before Birkas Kohanim, you'll take your talis, you'll fold it, and you'll leave the shul. What do you have against our Kohanim? Did someone upset you? Do you not like Birkas Kohanim? What is it with Birkas Kohanim and you? The old man becomes pale, and he is silent for 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, he starts shivering a little, and he says to the rabbi, listen, I didn't tell this to anyone, but if you ask me, I guess I have to tell you. I'm a Holocaust survivor. In the camp, we were 800 guys in a small little shack. We used to sleep 10 guys on one wooden plank. If somebody scratched his back, smashed his nose, coughed, the whole thing shook. Some people would fall. They barely gave us food. 10 ounces of bread a day. If we were lucky, sometimes potato peel soup. It was so hot. Life was hell. But in the camp, in my shack, there was an old man who was like our rabbi. He had a long beard that somehow he was able to hide with a scarf, and the Nazis didn't instruct him to shave it. And he would always speak to us, encourage us to do more. He would give us nechama. He would try to make us happy with whatever he could. And one day, 2 weeks before Pesach, he comes to us and he says, guys, in 2 weeks it's Pesach. We have to bake matzah. And we all looked at him, matzah? You're in a concentration camp. What matzah? And he says, but it's in 2 weeks it's Pesach. We have to improvise. We have to be creative. Let's do something. And we thought he lost it. But the guys started speaking among themselves. And there was one guy who used to clean the house of the Nazi officer every single day. So they all looked at him and said, maybe you can do it. You have a kitchen at your disposal. He says, are you crazy? The guy's going to kill me. But then he thought about it, and he says, you know what? Between 2 and 4, this officer goes to sleep. Maybe I can do it then. So the rabbi taught him how to kasher the oven and what to do, how to bake the matzah. It took him a week and a half. And a day before Pesach, he had one big round matzah. Pilei ploi. Leila Seder. They all sit on the ground, 800 men. And they start saying the Haggadah. The old man, the rabbi, knew the Haggadah by heart. Everybody else joined in those parts that they knew. And they had the matzah. They're saying the Haggadah and they're so excited. And in the middle, suddenly, a Nazi officer comes in and everybody jumps back to their beds. And the officer grabbed a Yid who was right next to him and he says, "Who organized this?" Doesn't open his mouth. "Who organized this? If you don't tell me, I'm going to shoot you." 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2. And before he gets to 1, the old man, the rabbi, gets up. And he says, "I organized it. Leave him alone." He ripped his shirt and he pointed to his heart. And he said, "If you want to shoot, shoot right here. Don't touch them." The Nazi officer, Yemach Shemoy Vezichoy, walks over to the old man, to the rabbi, and he comes over to him and he puts the gun right to his heart and he counts 3, 2, and then he stops and he smiles. And all the Jews knew that when the officer smiles, it's going to be much worse. It's going to be much more cruel than they thought it would be. And the officer says, "I'm not going to shoot you. I'm not going to shoot you now. No. We're going to do it tomorrow at 12 o'clock. We're going to put you on a big stage in front of everybody in the camp, not just the 800 guys here in the shack. And you're going to tell everybody what you did, your grave sin, and then I'll shoot you." And that's what happened. Following day, 12 p.m., a big stage. They put the old man, the rabbi, on the stage, took his clothes off. All the inhabitants of the camp were there, thousands of Yidden. The officer tells the rabbi, tell them what you did." And he told them what he did, his terrible sin. Then the officer comes, he puts a gun to his head, and he counts 5, 4, 3, and the rabbi stopped him and said, "Wait a second. It is customary in all nations that when one is executed, he has his last request. I want my last request as well." And the Nazi mocks him and he says, "What would you like? A little more bread? A little soup? A little piece of meat? What would you like?" And he says, "I don't want any food." "So what do you want?" And the rabbi says, "I want to give something to my brothers and sisters here." "What can I give them?" "Don't have money. I don't have food to give them. I don't even have clothes. But I'm a Kohen. And I want to give them Birkas Koyanim." And he raised his hands the way the Kohanim do. And he started saying, "Yevarechecho Hashem ve'yishmerecho." That Pesach, they didn't have maror there, the classic maror, but they had a lot of bitterness. They didn't have 4 cups of wine, but they had 4 cups of boiling tears. The ground that was saturated with blood was now saturated with their tears. As soon as he finished the Birkas Koyanim, the Nazi shot him and killed him. Says the old survivor to the rabbi, to the Chabad rabbi, "Somehow I survived. And I moved to the States after the Holocaust. I wanted to run away from anything that even had a smell of Yiddishkeit. I wanted to marry a shiksa. But I couldn't. The old man kept coming to me, appearing to me, with his hands, Yevarechecha Hashem v'yishmerecha, his Birkas Koyanim. And he didn't let me. I wasn't able to marry a shiksa, so I married a Jewish lady. I had some children. I wanted to send them to a Goyish school. I couldn't. The old man, his image carved on my heart, came appearing to me again. Yair Hashem panav elecha v'yichuneka. I couldn't. So I sent him to a Jewish school. So he says, "Rabbi, you understand now? That Birkas Koyanim is on my heart. I don't want to substitute it with any other Birkas Koyanim. That's why I leave the shul. I'm not saying if halachically he's correct or not. I'm saying, let's not judge other people. Who asked you to judge? You know the directive of Betzedek, Tishpot, Amitecha, you should judge people favorably. That's B'diavad. There's something that comes before that. Don't judge people until you reach their place. Will you ever reach anyone else's shoes? Did you have their exact upbringing, exact family, exact friends, exact school, exact teacher? No. You will never be able to reach somebody else's shoes. So therefore, don't judge. If somebody comes and puts a gun to your head and says, you must judge him, then comes the new directive. Judge people favorably. When we do judge people, many times that brings anger. It brings sadness. It brings bitterness. All those things that we want to avoid. Today we're saying every day counts. Don't worry. Be happy. Don't judge people. You'll be much, much happier.